This is National News.
The Victorian Premier has promised Ford employees they will receive the state's full support. Denis Napthine was in Geelong today to see what can be done for the workers affected by Ford's decision to stop making cars in Australia. Sky News Melbourne reporter Matt Gallant has this report.
Victorian Premier Denis Napthine visited Geelong, speaking with both community and business leaders in the wake of Ford's job cuts. The Premier pledging state government support across the Broadmeadows and Geelong manufacturing plants, which will be shut down in October 2016. In a bid to combat jobs concern, the state government has launched what's been called the Premier's Ford Task Force.
We will form a task force to look at what we can do as a government to work with the community of Geelong, the community of Broadmeadows and Hume, to make sure that we help those workers that are going to be displaced from Ford, those workers who are in the supply chain whose jobs are at risk, but also growing jobs and opportunities in the northern suburbs of Melbourne and in Geelong to strengthen the economy of those regions and create broader job opportunities across the board in those areas.
Premier Napthine stressed the importance on economic growth for the state and its good track record with Geelong, but has called on the federal government to set up the NDIS headquarters in Geelong to promote jobs.
Well, what we're looking through the NDIS is to make sure that we create jobs and opportunities and economic growth here in Geelong. The NDIS is logically based here in Geelong. Geelong has a great history of providing services and support for people with disabilities, and with the TAC here in Geelong, it certainly has a broad range of expertise.
The high costs of doing business in Australia has been flagged as a major factor for the move, but Ford boss Bob Graziano has defended the company's use of government funding.
If we look at the investment that the government has made with Ford over the last 10 years, they have invested about $1.1 billion. And in that same period of time, Ford Motor Company has invested $3 billion, a little bit over $3 billion, and we've paid taxes to both the federal and state governments of about another $3 billion. So, said another way, for every dollar that the government has invested here with Ford, Ford has returned $6 to the Australian economy.
It's a difficult time for the car manufacturing sector in Australia, with the closure of auto components suppliers CMI and APV both shutting the doors last year. The unions warn this may just be the beginning, saying 10,000 jobs could be at risk in the country's auto components sector. But Premier Napthine has remained optimistic, saying he believes there is a future for car manufacturing in the state, pointing towards General Motors and Toyota. Matt Gallant, Sky News, Melbourne.